The Quench, where you ask, we answer.
Now we are back. Before we went on a break, we were discussing what happens after school. And we looked at the challenges of students when they finish school. And we were talking about the whole mental health aspects. We were also talking about peer pressure and issues like teenage pregnancies and the whole idea of the issues and the challenges that face students when they finish school. So now I want to ask you, Mr. Waithaka, how do you think students can circumvent it all, okay? From the changes in the interpersonal communication, someone told us your parents start to treat you a bit differently. Okay, so that leads to depression. How do you go about that? Then there's the peer pressure to do alcohol, to indulge in fornication and things like that. How do you circumvent through it all as a mentor and as a teacher of teenagers? How would you advise them to go about that?
Okay, thank you. My advice would be, number one, they need to accept the grade that you are going to get, even to the parent. You need to accept. That is the reality. That which is written in that message, you need to accept. Number one, that's a grade that you got. There is no need of dwelling in denial. There are some who get in depression because of denial. Acceptance is one of the key things, survival tactic. You need to accept. You cannot change it. It is the way it is. That's the grade you got. That you need to accept. Another thing you need to do is that now you need to adjust. You had a dream to do a certain career based on the result you have gotten. You are not going to do it. Adjust. Yes. You need to accept. You have accepted. You need to adjust. Now I cannot do this degree. I cannot do a degree. Maybe you got a grade that will not even allow you to join university. You need to agree that you cannot go to a certain university. Now adjust. The other thing you need to do now, you need to advance. The next, you need to advance yourself now. Start thinking of what are you going to get out of that grade. Even to the parents, they need to know that it's one thing, this is your child. You don't have to condemn them. Even if you decide now to give them pressure, you cannot change that degree. You know now to think outside the box. What will my daughter or my son do now that he have gotten this degree? The other courses that are even more better, sorry to say so, more than the degree. Maybe a student wanted to do engineering, architectural, maybe a degree. Let them go and start with a diploma. Yes. We have institutions and colleges. Begin low. We have people who have begun in certificate. Yes. They have ended up being professors. It all matters. Doesn't matter where you begin. What matters is where you're heading to. So you could have started one step behind, but doesn't mean you're not going to catch up with the others. So the issue of getting into drugs, you'll solve nothing. The problem that you are trying to solve using drugs, after it's out of your head, you will find it there. The mountain is there. You'll continue building a mountain for no reason. But if you just adjust, accept and adjust immediately, now start thinking about new opportunities, new courses. Madam, I've talked about even about farming. You need to think about now, are there some courses that are not popular? You know, now people are going to the white-collar jobs. Think about other courses. Like most of the courses that are neglected, I can say that as an agriculture teacher, they are agricultural-based courses. Yes. You find they don't want to do animal health. They don't want to do veterinary. They don't want to do animal science. Soil science. But this area, this is where money is. I want to say it. I always ask my student, why do you think our president is a farmer? The current president. I think we have been stereotyped in our mind to think that agriculture, kulima, nimbaya. But think about why are our big men in this country? They are all farming. We saw the deputy president then, who is the current president. He has over 5,000 birds. He has cattle. He's doing farming of avocados. Think about that. Where are we being taught, our average people, the middle class, that farming is bad after all? You can get into vegetables. There are people who are doing it even 10 acres. They begin with 1 acre. You get the market. You sell it. You advance from 1 acre to 2 acres. You can go even to 10. You become a serious supplier of supermarkets. So it's all about the attitude and the way somebody can look at something and see it differently, depending on their attitude. So don't be glued towards. If you ask me and Madam, maybe what we are teaching today is not what we wanted. We wanted to do different things. I wanted to be an engineer. I did not become one. But that has not made me less. I adjusted. I didn't get that grade. I adjusted, I did what I am doing. And I think I'm happy with what I'm doing. So I would like to advise the students and those who will be leaving, adjust immediately. Accept immediately.
Accept and adjust.
Immediately. Yes. And know it may happen. Allow me to quote the case of David in the Bible. When the child was dead, he could do nothing.
He could do nothing.
He could do nothing. There are some things, when the grade imetoka, you can do nothing about it. You cannot pray about it. It's good to pray about it, but it will not change the grade. Imekuja iko hivyo. So one thing you can ask God is to ask God, what next after this?
Yes.
Get direction. Go back to God. Otherwise, when you get in depression, you get yourself drunk, in drugs, peer pressure, pregnancy. Some even decide to say there is no God. God will remain to be God. So I would like to advise you, maybe the other class of people that normally get depressed when you want to cut off. Maybe they miss the university with a point. I was in one of those classes. I missed the university with 1 point. It is so depressing. But I decided to adjust. I accepted. That has not prevented me from becoming a graduate. I started with a diploma, went to a degree, and later began on building on something else. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you don't hit what you wanted, think about adjust immediately, see what you can do.
Kubali no songe mbele. True words, yes? Say if you decided you were not going to get the soil science degree that you wanted, you do what? You accept and you move on. Let's talk about the ones that will actually go to campus, okay? There's a bad company that happens in tertiary institutions. We can all agree that, yes? There's a lot of freedom that happens when you are now getting paid a house by your parents. So you have a house. Some of you will be reaching out to have the whole set of furniture set by your parents. Yes. Some of us will have to go to hostels, but still there's that freedom. So no one is watching you, yet they're giving you money. The best life ever, trust me. Okay, so what are some of the things that you will be able to do that you're not going to be able to do as a student right now? Let's start there. Let's start by understanding what are some of these things zenye huwezi fanya sai, but you definitely be able to do them once you sign off the last paper ya KCSE. Tell me.
While you are studying, you should not have a phone. No. Yeah. So when you come to school, watu walikuwa TikTok, watu wanachat WhatsApp,
yes.
Watu wanachat hadi na teachers. I'm like, group teachers, that is. Then you're like, Kai, mi naombaga mamangu simu nicheze game anakuambia 5 minutes only. Then, yeah, so when I finish school, I'd like to have the freedom of my own. Own phone. Yes. Napiga picha. Yeah.
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of them. Yes, I was actually like her. So we didn't have phones when you're in high school. So when you finish, you're waiting for that phone. So I understand. So it's something that there's a lot of fields that you open once you finish school and get that phone. Another thing, talk to me about the other things. Let's hear them. Talk to me even if you go to campus, if you go to college, even if you don't even actually make it to the tertiary institution, you're over 18 at this point. Sindio? So what are those things that you'll be able to do?
So I'm Caroline. And personally, kwetu kesha za 31st. Hakuna kwenye unaenda, unakaa tu kwa nyumba. And then there are your friends wameenda tu masherehe, kuna wenye wameenda kesha church. So I guess nikimaliza form 4, I'll have that freedom.
You'll have the freedom to go hang out with your friends, the sherehes you're talking about, the keshas. Yes, some people actually are not allowed to even go for the keshas because, you know, our parents have the reasoning behind their works and their thoughts. So what else will you be allowed to do? Tell me.
So I'm Evelyn, and when I finish Form 4, I'm going to now ask my parents to be able to join that group called Afleo, so that I can be able to help a lot of youths understand that kuokoka, it's not all about kuboeka. It's not all about boring stuff. I want to show them that kuokoka, you can be able to actually unaweza vaa smart and everything. And I think that time nikimaliza, my parents are going to allow me now to get to that field.
Oh, nice. Now, let me ask the question of, have you ever met people who go to church because their parents said so? So now you tell me about those people because they're not going to say it's you. It's not you, but tell me about those people. What happens when you're finished school and now you don't have to go to church, you are over 18? What happens? Let's hear, just answer that question before we go in.
My name is Lillian. About that point, you get that on Sundays mostly ndo ile siku yenye watu panga ma road trip, ma shoots. So like parents they force their children to go to church, and yet msee amepanga ataenda kujibamba na mabeshte. So like after form 4 itakuwa more advantageous cause you have the freedom. So anytime kama utaki kuenda hakuna kitu atakwambia. So unaenda unajibamba.
Those people that we're not talking about hawataenda, si ndio? What happens? You end up backsliding. Tell me something else. So you have been eyeing this person, this boy. Oh, so now you're laughing. So you've been eyeing this boy and you're not allowed, so long as you're wearing a uniform to go to school, you're not allowed to have a boyfriend. But after 18, are you allowed? Oh, you are. Why are you not telling me that? Tell me, yes. Tell us what will you be allowed after school?
I'm Monica. Hao watu wa kukaziwa na wazazi, kuforcewa kwenda church, wanaforcewa kuvaa nguo ndefu.
Oh, nice.
Sa after mtu amemaliza form 4, anatoka, sana anavaa venye anataka, and then anaweza vaa hivyo.
Yeah, yes, is it not true? Our parents define our lifestyles when we are young, and it is okay for them to do that. But when it gets to a certain point when you become your own person, you have the flexibility to wear ragged, right? You have the flexibility to wear that you wanted. Okay, let's hear another one. Yes?
After form 4 or when you turn 18, at least curfew inasongeshwa. So, as in, hautakazi ufike home by 4, especially if you're a girl. So, curfew inasongeshwa angalau.
From 4?
4 p.m. Like, kuna curfew, unafukwe kwa nyumba by 4.
By 4? Hey, so, what living the life? You're supposed to be in the house by 4.
Ama ukipewa ruhusa, unashinda umepiga simu kwa wapi, come back home, ama unapewa limited time of hanging out with friends. So, I guess after form 4, some of us will be allowed.
Unaweza fika 6:30. So long as akifika nyuma yako, that's okay. Asifike mbele yako. All right, let's hear another one. Your curfew, it's nice. But what are you doing in the darkness? What are you doing? Kutoka 4 mpaka 6.
My name is Lillian. So about that issue of boyfriends. So most of my friends tell me that they started dating from Corona period. So I date for long with my boyfriends, but their parents don't know. So when you ask them...
This is sad.
So when you ask them, they say that after form 4 is the time that they will introduce their boyfriends to their parents. So they think that their parents won't do anything. They'll just be fine because amemaliza shule. So yeye ni mtu mkubwa ako na ID. So yeah, that's
so you will not only get boyfriends for those ones that don't have, but you will introduce the ones that are already there. You're bringing a boy to your Your lives are good. Your lives are good. So I want us to talk about those things that they said. So tell us, okay? They will have all the freedom to do all of those things, yeah? And we have actually put it forward that things like backsliding might happen. Because some of these people, the church is something that was pushed, the agenda that was pushed by the parents, okay? Then we have other things like bad company in campus, you know? So things that might lead them to start doing all sorts of things. What do they do with the freedom that they will have gotten? Because it is inevitable. They must get that freedom. You can't be 18 and above, living on your own, and you're still scared of, you know, there's that freedom that comes with finishing school. How do they go about it? Now, let me hear what you have to say, and then how.
Okay, thank you. I normally say that if there is something that is so dangerous, is freedom. Freedom is sweet and dangerous, especially when it has no responsibility. Most of the things our parents are telling us not to do, they are doing it for our own good. And that's why you see when some of the students, once they go to the university, they begin a totally different life. They move away from what the parents taught them. That's when they get into drugs. They get into bad companies. They get into, some even begin acting funny movies. It's because they never realized the essence why the parents had put a hedge. So my biggest advice to the young people, freedom requires responsibility. Because number one, if you get into drugs, you can be arrested, you get intoxicated, you are in college or campus, your education could be terminated. Now, the other thing about the issue of boyfriend, I think it's a totally different topic that maybe the young people need to know.
It serves a whole day.
Yeah,
because
now when you hear a teenage either young girl or boy saying they are dating, okay, you wonder, what are they dating? What's the objective? Because I believe you date with an objective, with a set goal. I think that's another topic for another day. But I would tell you, if you don't know why you are dating, keep off from those dating. Otherwise, you are going to find yourself. That's how pregnancies come. That's why heartbreaks come. You hear some, you can see they are laughing.
Well, you've experienced heartbreaks.
Heartbreaks. That's how heartbreaks come. Because now they go, they break the hedge, they get drunk. Those boyfriends cheat them. They also get cheated. They cheat themselves. They find themselves in pregnancies. They find themselves in fixes. And most of those boyfriends, their objective, you know them. Most of them is geared toward fornication or being exposed to early pregnancies. And most of those boyfriends, when they have used you, wanasonga kusonga unaachwa hapo. Unatoka hapo unakuwa dumped. That's what they say. Amedampiwa. They move to another one. Unakuta huyo mtu life yake, huyo msichana, imeharibika from the beginning. My advice is to young people. There is a reason why your parents anakuambia ufike nyumbani mapema. Anakuambia wachana huyo boyfriend. Because number one, you date when you are 16 years. Are you intending to marry? You know, are you intending to marry the next day? Or what is your plan?
Are you intending to marry? You're not sure?
Then if you are not intending to marry, then why should you be dating? Because one thing will lead to the other. You find yourself in a fix. Utaambia watu nini?
Madam Rahab, shortly, please tell us, in 1 minute or so, tell us, how do you deal with all of this freedom? It's coming, you have new perks that come with the freedom. You can finally get a boyfriend, as they have said, not my words. So how do you deal with that?
Okay, thank you. Okay, this freedom is dangerous if you don't manage it well. As Mr. Waithaka has said, you must be responsible. And you think that you have a lot of freedom. One girl has said, kwetu pengine tunafika saa 10, na kama hutafika saa 10, you have to explain. Maisha ni mviringo. At what time you'll be married, okay? Again, utakuwa ukireport. Nimechelewa. Yeah, tusijidanganye. That is the thing, isn't it? You know, young people wanajidanganya sana. They don't see very far. Wanaona kama watabaki kuwa vijana maishani mwao mote. Lakini sio hivyo. Now, you are a girl. Umeenda college. You have all this freedom. Your foundation must be very strong in you survive in the next stage of life. You won't remain young forever. So this freedom, manage it well for future. Because at last, saizi mnasema ati because you are in high school, you are in prison, kwa sababu lazima msiende hapa, msiende kwa shule ya boys, msiende kwa fence, kengele you are lead na kadhalika sio. But in college, unajua kuna mtu atakufuata. That's why I always tell my students, whatever we are teaching you in high school, wale watashikilia ndio itawaongoza katika vyuo vikuu. Because you'll be on your own.
Yes.
One, you must be firm and assertive. You can say no. Twende bash. Hii bash ni ya wapi? No, unauliza kwanza. Ni bash ya nini? Wengine tu wanaenda na hawaulizi ni ya nini. Twende tu. Kama ni kwenda ni kwenda. Sawa. Hi, about atikuvaa nguo ndefu. Okay, again that is a very sensitive topic. I always tell young people, dress according to the occasion. You'll never have a problem.
Okay.
Where are you going to? Hivyo umevaa ni wapi unaenda? Kama ni kanisani, vaa kana kwamba unaenda wapi? Kanisani. Usivae kana kwamba unaenda bash. I tell young people, when you're going for swimming, can you swim in a dress?
No.
Can you swim in these skirts? Ukivaa nguo za swimming, kuna mtu atakuuliza? Tukienda games, tuvae kama wana michezo. Kuna mtu anatuuliza? I wish we can just dress for the occasion. Sawa. Kama mmealikwa kwa rorashio, unajua uko kuna watu wazee na nini, si ndio? Jifunike. Because you're going to meet elderly people, isn't it? Your fathers, uncles, si ndio? You see, just get that sense of where am I going to. Hivi kwamba hata mtu ukikutana naye hivi, hata anaweza sema mahali unakoenda hata kabla hujamwambia. At last, even uniform tutavaa hata kama tumemaliza form 4. Kuna watu watakuwa in the military. Are they here?
Yeah,
are there nurses here?
Yes.
They are going to be in
uniform.
But when you are young, that's what I'm saying, vijana wanaona karibu sana, tuone mbali, sio? Tuna maisha ni mviringo, bado tunarudi pale tu. About time, bado in a marriage, you have to be answerable. Mimi saizi nikichelewa lazima nipige simu niseme na nitachelewa kidogo kwa mwenzangu kama nataka amani. Bado narudi mahali ambapo nilikuwa nikifikiria nimetoka, sio? Yaani huo uhuru lazima utumike vizuri. Na kama hutumiki vizuri, utakuharibu, utakumaliza.
Okay, let's just clap for that. So, that was a wonderful session where we talked about what happens after school. We even put forward the freedoms that come with school and how to circumvent through those freedoms, the challenges, and also what skills you can put into place and what you can do after school. Hope we answered the question of what happens after school well, and I will see you next time.
The Quench, where you ask, we answer.